Setup. All right. So here we go. January 2024, man. It's been, again, quite a wild ride. I also realized today is February 1st, but it's just the way that it worked out. So we'll be doing a town hall once a month. So the next one will be during the 29th. And the reason why we're doing this is it's setting goals and standards for us at Emblem Vault, but also for the community. We're working on our communication. The team has been growing, and we'll go into that here in a second. So first thing is an overview. I think this is about 20 different slides or so. We're going to cover everything from the legacy migration, the Embel's cross-chain mint through our Emblem Vaultpad to co-vol partnerships, etc. Again. So I want to go first and foremost, kind of review what's happened over the last, we'll say year and a half since Adam and I have joined. Adam and I officially joined Emblem Vault November 1st, 2022. That was an exciting time. We had reached out to Shannon and to Eric at Emblem Vault with this idea to build a historical NFT marketplace. Ultimately, they said, hey, just come join us. And that evolved quite quickly, I have to say, once the proliferation of Bitcoin ordinals, this was like lightning striking, like the fourth time for Emblem Vault. We were like, okay, this is bigger than historical NFTs. This is all about cross-chain functionality and I actually call it crypto interoperability. So from there, we deployed the first ERC 1155 curated collection in December. For those that stuck around, this was the Emblem test collection, right? And then in February, the first Bitcoin ordinals was vaulted, and we added Taproot support. And the reason why that's notable is that's the first way that Bitcoin ordinals were trading on, or trading in general, I guess outside of just OTC spreadsheets, but trading on chain, which was unique. We added Taproot support, and that was the first wallet support that had been added to Emblem Vault in quite some time. And so some other few key features or key things to note. Right after Bitcoin ordinals, I think it was in March, this is when the royalty thing became an issue. Emblem had been primarily generating revenue through royalties and through co-vol vault payments. But the co-vol vault payments was, I think, what was it, 250 co-vol, came out to like $5. And so because of the royalties going to zero and the existing business model at that time being $2 for vaulting, we realized very quickly, hey, this is not sustainable at all. So we moved to ETH payments shortly after that, and that was a big upgrade. And then a few months later, Rare Pepe Curated was launched in April of 2023, and then a few weeks after, Spells of Genesis was launched as well, both of those being ERC 1155 contracts. And so then shortly after that, and seeing, some success with it, we said, hey, if we're going to build this, if we're going to build Emblem Markets and this idea of, cross-chain future, we need to support ERC 721s as well. So we came out of the gate with ERC 721 with ETH-scriptions, which I don't know if you remember that time. This was also the first time that ETH-scriptions was able to trade in general. So just as Bitcoin ordinals happened and traded, same thing happened with ETH-scriptions. And actually right before that was Bitcoin stamps as well. So just as what had happened in 2021 with Rare Pepe and Namecoin assets and et cetera, same exact thing was happening 2 years later, but just in a little bit of a different sense. We then launched the BRC20 collections, ORDI and OXBT. And it was at this point when we realized, hey, if we're going to scale this thing, we can't have every single collection on one smart contract. It was not working. If you guys remember Emblem Legacy, it was deployed in September of 2020. So it did not have any of the new features that had existed since the NFT ecosystem blew up in 2021. So we made this very, very hard decision. It was, hey, we're going to take 50,000 assets from 12 different blockchains and about 50 different collections, and we're going to attempt to move them to 40 different smart contracts. And to say the least, this is maybe 10 to 20 times more smart contract migrations that has ever existed before. We even reached out to Goblin Town to ask about their migration. And so here we're really in uncharted territories. We're taking a massive risk. We're saying, hey, we're going to pause the way that Emblem makes revenue in order to create a more efficient ecosystem. But what's on the other side of this and how we're going to go about this is really tough. And right, for all the frustrations that everyone will remember, we said originally 2 to 3 weeks, and now we're 6 months into this, right? But happy to say, this is finally the end coming here shortly. But Shannon, dude, for a little bit of, the back end developer perspective, take us through kind of your thoughts of going through migration and then getting a month into it, realizing like how big of a hurdle or lift it actually was.
Well, like so many other things, I learned mostly that I'm really bad at estimates. That soon is a meme for a reason, I think. But yeah, so I was really gung ho about sort of moving into the migration. I really thought I had a handle on it. But then sort of as I started diving in and really sectioning and organizing and grouping all of these, 50,000 different NFTs, I realized just how different they all were and how much complexity there was to the whole thing. So I had to, take multiple approaches as I sort of go through this, because I'm like, okay, well, this isn't going to work. Ultimately, made it to where we are today. So
this is when we realized that it wasn't just a migration. It was actually just a complete Emblem Vault overhaul from the entire system.
Yeah. So one of the things that I realized that as I was going through, I was like, looking at all of these old vaults, say vaults that were made years and years ago, version 1. Like at this point, the current vaults that are made are in the back end, they're technically version 10. So that means that over the years, I've made 10 different iterations of what a vault is and how it works and how it functions and what it looks like in the back end and what it can hold and how you can open it.
And now here
so yeah, going through all those, I realized that if I was going to be doing this, I might as well solve every single bug that I discover. And when dealing with this dynamic system where anybody can sort of create anything, they can name it anything, and they can put anything in it, you end up with really wild stuff out there.
Yeah, we learned we've identified about 600 different edge cases, which is, we'll talk about that a little bit once we get to the migration section. But yeah, some of the things that people stuff inside of these vaults, old school, anything from literally full rare Pepe supplies to assets from 5 different blockchains or 10 different blockchains to just things that you really are unsure and uncertain of. And also some of the early features like private vaults and some of that stuff. So
private vaults posed an interesting problem. We don't know what's inside of a private vault. We just don't have that information. That the balance or the deposit addresses are encrypted, and only the user that created that vault knows what's in there. So that's part of what led us to this decision. And okay, well, we're going to need to have some sort of open collection for the people to experiment into, and that's where these private vaults are going to fit as well, just because we can't really know where else they would go.
Yeah, it's been completely interesting to say the least. But coming back to the the slideshow, after we went through this migration and we realized the massive hurdle or the massive lift, we were like, man, we need to get Shannon help as soon as possible. Although we've been talking about it for quite a while. If you didn't know, Emblem was a small team. When Adam and I joined the team, there was 2 other people, Shannon and Eric. So when Adam and I joined, it was 4, but there was still 1 single developer. So we went in and we just added 2 people to the team. Chris, who's on stage here. Chris, I'll let you, since you're on stage, man. Just if you just want to give a brief introduction and background for those who may not be familiar with you.
Yeah, man, for sure. Happy to. Graduated from UNLV. Went into Wynn Resorts, was the youngest senior marketing executive in Wynn Nightlife. Have been in crypto since 2016. Met up with Jake kind of around end of 2019, maybe 2020, and really started getting into crypto full time with native research. In the meantime, I was growing a startup called Forever Home Realty. It's a real estate investment brokerage. We grew to like 180 agents about, and then we dissolved it into a publicly traded company. And then, just was trading, was investing on the side, and was super impressed by the Emblem product. And Jake's passion for it was just incredible over the years. And so I had no choice. I was like, man, you guys look like you might need some help. I'm pretty sure I can help grow this out with you guys. And we've been checking ever since. So it's been fantastic.
I got to give a little update here, Jake, because people are like bombing me. Gas has gone up to like 70 Gwei. So we've obviously broken Ethereum. So you might want to wait if you're minting right now. Gas is absolutely crazy. So yeah, just a heads up for anybody listening. I know a lot of people from the Bells Discord are in here. Like, what's happening? I'm, $80 to mint or something. So that's what's happening, guys. Gas is crazy.
Yeah, so that's for MBells. We have a section on that. Yesterday, also just as a preface, last night when I was testing, when Gwei was around 15, it came out to about $35 to mint, 25 for the fee and $10 for gas. Obviously, if gas is 80, then yeah, you can wait. There's 10,000 assets, so I don't expect this to fully mint out within the next 24 hours, but who really knows? Yeah, we'll dive into that. But go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, so just kind of spent my time mostly trading, focusing on investing in real estate and crypto. And we had native research together where we were pioneering crypto in the Vegas kind of scene. Had the largest crypto meetup here in town. Was just really trying to get everybody on board on what we thought was the most important movement. And we were just way too early. Nobody understood anything that we were saying. So trying to get these, major casinos, major Fortune 500 companies on board to crypto previously was basically an impossible task. And so Jake went on to Emblem, and his passion was just incredible. And everyone sees the vision for the multi-chain future, but their approaches are a lot different. But something like Emblem is just additive and it's not subtractive at all. And so it's so flexible in between all these different chains and how you can interact with them without actually moving the native asset. And so we're pretty confident that this is the right way forward. And it's just incredible to see with the launch today how much progress has been made and how much versatility the product is going to have. Shannon, you're an absolute legend. Eric, absolute legend. Everything that's been built so far is just truly incredible. And this is really, really just the beginning. So exciting road ahead.
Absolutely. And we also added our good friend Swapna, who is a very experienced developer. She was one of the first 100 Coinbase employees. She was there from 2017 to 2021, leaving under her own discretion and to pursue other opportunities. We've been friends for a little while. Unironically, also met up at Chris and I's crypto meetups in Vegas. So that's where we were originally introduced from. And she'd always been interested in helping out and, becoming more involved in the blockchain space, less on the enterprise space. And she's been learning a lot, and she's been very helpful to really accelerate to where we are today.
Lesson learned, guys, is go to crypto meetups, man. I mean,
yeah.
Seriously, it's like the thing, man. It's true, dude. It's true. Like putting yourself out there, meeting people. Like if people want to work in the space, this is how it's done. It's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, we're very, very thankful for Swapna to really bring her expertise over to the ecosystem. Between her and Shannon, can get a lot done. Of course, we're always going to be looking for additional developers once we get some further resources. But we're now a team of 6, so this is where you see some of the accelerations really picked up over the last month and a half or so. So moving over to the important question, right? Emblem Legacy migration, the thing that we started about 6 months ago. So the reason why the migration started, Emblem cannot scale all vaults within a single collection. The technology is outdated. It was created in 2020. We realized very quickly curation is required. We kind of ran into a similar issue that Artblocks ran into. If you remember Artblocks originally back in 2021, they had all collections on a single contract, and it just makes a horrible experience for discoverability, and we're very aware for that. So we aligned with those views and said, hey, let's kind of follow what they're doing here. And then also, as I mentioned on the previous slide, Emblem needs additional business models. If royalties are going to zero, which they're officially at zero 29 days from now, we're going to have to figure out different business models to survive this, Emblem has been around since 2016, right? It's been through 2 different bull markets already. There's not a lot of other products and teams that can say that. So with that being said, the progress we've made up to today, we've migrated 25,000 of 50,000 vaults. We had to completely overhaul the ecosystem. Some new features that we've built along this way, jumping, which I'll get into here in a second, bulk mint, time locked vaults. We had to redo the entire metadata structure, redo the entire database, redo all the APIs. And there's probably a lot more that I'm missing. Again, the timeline was 2 to 3 weeks, reality 6 months, completion today. And the final steps I'm going to go over here in 1 second. But Shannon, if you would like to maybe give a brief explanation of anything that I'd missed technically that you've had to implement through legacy migrations.
No, you covered most of it. Just as the system grew and as we added support, there are lots of different services became sort of flaky, and we were relying a lot on third-party services. So I had to I wanted to handle that. I wanted our if you deposit Solana into a vault, I wanted it to always show up. So spent a lot of time really shoring up the balance side of things. Yeah. It's funny, I actually have an interesting story about art blocks that I don't think anybody knows about. So at first, before art blocks actually did their move to individual contracts, they had worked out an agreement with OpenSea, and they had split their collections using metadata only. So if you looked in the old art blocks metadata, it would have a collection tag. And the day that they announced this, I dove deep into art blocks metadata because it was all undocumented. And we actually supported that metadata strategy from day one, but OpenSea said, "Oh, that we just did that special for them. That's not something that applies to all things." I was like, "Oh my
goodness." Of course, right? They, I forget what was the term that we use. First class citizens, right? Emblem was not a first class citizen for quite a long time. Finally getting some notoriety here as we've progressed. On the screen here, you could see I have some images. I'll pull up a video. So previously, Emblem had to manually, on our side, push the migrations. That's where we got 25,000 of them through. Ultimately, as the bull market picked up and gas increased, this was not economically feasible for us to migrate anymore for the user. And also, from the back-end perspective, it took us about a week to prepare for even the migration itself. So in lieu of everything moving forward, we said, okay, how do we get these assets over? But also, how do we kind of move our product? So we added a migrate button inside of all of the legacy vaults. And if you go to emblem.finance right now, you will see 2 new tabs that say migrate and jump. And so what these 2 features are is as so. So migrate is only for legacy vaults. And if you go to advanced options, you'll be presented with multiple buttons that say migrate vault to Emblem Open, to Rare Pepe, to etc. collections. And literally all you got to do is go hit migrate and it'll move the asset over. There's some caveats, which I will explain here in a second. And for jump is what I consider to be a insanely massive breakthrough for cross-chain functionality. So what I mean by this jump means that you will be able to, with a click of a button, move assets in between curated collections that they are appropriate for. So let's say I move my Rare Pepe to the Rare Pepe collection, and then I realize, hey, I want to deposit more assets in this so that I could sell as kind of a bulk offer. You can then migrate it to Emblem Open and then get additional deposit addresses and deposit additional assets in there to sell. Ultimately, what this is going to lead to is once Emblem deploys on Bitcoin ordinals in Q2 and then Solana shortly after that, you'll be able to take your rare Pepe and within the click of a button, move it to Bitcoin ordinals, move it to Solana, move it back to Ethereum, move it to Blast to go play in their Ponzi's or whatever gamification they're doing. Go move it to eScription for less gas fees, etc. So with the click of a button, moving your NFTs across chain, that is a true cross-chain vision that we wholeheartedly believe in. This makes the entire NFT ecosystem competitive across all blockchains. And what I mean by this is, let's say you have a rare Pepe and you don't want to pay OpenSea's 2.5% fee, or you're on Magic Eden and you don't want to have to pay royalties. Just go move it to Solana and go trade for free on Tensor or whatever blockchain that you want. Or you want to go do a swap using whatever swap tool on Bitcoin ordinals in a trustless way. That is completely up to you. We are building the tool so users can use the assets in the way that they present it. And I'm going to play a video, and Shannon, I'll let you go ahead and share anything else. If you're there. Are you there?
Oh yeah, I thought you said you were going to play the video.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to mention that we will, while it's not going to be live today, within the next week or so, we will be allowing migration cross-chain. So all of the vaults that are on Polygon will soon be able to migrate into qualifying curated collections on ETH, and vice versa. Actually, they won't be able to migrate to Polygon, but we'll be able to migrate from Polygon. And then when the jump is available, it's obviously both ways.
So I have here the video that's playing in the background. This is also, if you go to the Emblem YouTube page, there's a nice tutorial there that I put out. It's 2 minutes long, very simple. It's a few steps, and it shows you in this video how to migrate. I did the rare Pepe's, the basketball card, quite quickly. The only thing you have to pay for is gas. For migrate, there is no vaulting fee. So you're just paying for gas. When it was around 20 Gwei, I think I paid around $13 for it. So again, there's no rush. There's no time decay to this. You could migrate them whenever you want. Emblem Legacy is what we call maintenance mode. So we are maintaining it, but we're not pushing any active upgrades to the collection. And all the new benefits will be there. So you could go to the YouTube page and go ahead. When it comes to jump, there will be a vaulting fee as you move it across blockchains. That feature will come soon, and we'll be sure to announce it because it will all tie in very well together with the new Emblem Finance front end and Emblem Markets, which I will go ahead and explain here pretty shortly. So go ahead, Shannon. Do you have something to say?
Yeah, so one of the things I wanted to mention, where this is a little bit different from the large chunk that we migrated. So when we migrated vaults, we, those are actual assets that live on our users' wallets, right? We can't actually move those. So what's different when users use the migrate buttons, their legacy vault is actually destroyed. So you will see it disappear from your wallets and from OpenSea when you use the migrate button, which is a slightly different experience than happened previously.
Those original legacy vaults might become historical NFTs at some point in time. Then is what you're telling me.
Yeah, so there's about half of them that are still technically hanging out there.
I've seen a few people in our Discord note or prospect the possibility of those original legacy vaults becoming something of a collector's item because they were the first essentially cross-chain vaults, right? The first way to move NFTs across chain, as Emblem was one of the first NFT protocols to really exist outside of marketplaces, at least from my research. So we'll have to see. We might have to add serial numbers to all the vaults like ordinals just to add some collectability. Here on the next page, again, I talked about this briefly, but so it's here up on text. There's a one-way migration. There's no vaulting fee when it comes to migration. All your assets move with the vault. So what I mean by this, and please make sure you really understand this, because all of the assets are tied to a single private key. As of now, there is no way to split them up and mint them. So if I have a Nakamoto card, a DJ Pepe, and I don't know, like a shitcoin card, all in a single vault, those will all move in unison. So if you sell that, then they will all be sold together. So if that is something, if you want to migrate them and there's multiple valuable assets that you'd like to split up, you'll have to manually unvault and revault them. But the issue we ran into that was very common is a lot of the counterparty holders like to airdrop assets. So there's about 70 Nakamoto cards in the legacy vaults that all have just random airdrops to them. And those were the ones that were not migrated because it's almost impossible for our system to evaluate unique assets and say, hey, we should move these all to Nakamoto because this one's more valuable, right? There's no on-chain kind of value system for that. So we had to manually go through the remaining, 3,000 rare Pepe vaults and see what the hell was really going on. And ultimately, there was a few counterparty cards that were airdropped to like many of these collections. So you can actually bypass that if you hide the assets inside, and you'll be able to migrate to rare Pepe. I also want to note this as well. We identified about 600 unique edge cases between different types of assets, the 10 different variations of legacy vaults to, different types of owners and heirs. So if you open up your legacy vault and there's not a collection that's there. So for example, we have 40 different smart contracts laid out. If you open up your Doge Party vault and it does not say migrate to Doge Party, we could have missed that. So please go into our Discord and say, hey, I think my vault should be eligible to be migrated to this collection, and we'll manually spin it up. And we should have that implemented quite shortly. Again, right? Because of the variabilities and us being, 6 people on a team, and also not owning a lot of these high value cards, right? Like I don't own a Nakamoto card. I don't own an FD card. I don't own a Bitcoin Punk, right? That's in the vault. So we weren't able to manually test these. So there could be some misses. So please don't get frustrated if you go into your Bitcoin Punk vault or your Mega Punk vault and it doesn't say migrate to Mega Punks. It just says migrate to Bitcoin Ordinals. Literally all we got to do is just plug it in on the back end. So please just go into the Discord, or I guess you could just go onto Twitter and say, when, fix this. This sucks, whatever. I'll take the heat. It's not a big deal. But please, again, there's probably a few that was missed. Not obviously intentionally. It's just there is a lot of different variabilities to this, which makes it incredibly difficult.
Dude, you do not realize what 50,000 is until you actually have to deal with 50,000. 50,000 is impossible to deal with. On a technical level, it's literally it's mind-bendingly complex when you get into situations like this. And so it's once you dive into it, you realize that, there are a million edge cases. And don't get too frustrated. Just ping Jake on Twitter.
And then so for once we move past migration, right, the jump is what will take place. Right now, you'll be able to move between curated collections, so between the 40 smart contracts that we have. The future, you'll be able to move them between blockchains in a single transaction. The jump fee will be, $20. It'll be mimic whatever the vaulting fee is, and we'll just call them vault interactions. Shannon, is there anything that I missed in terms of criteria or any additional notes when it comes to the migration button?
No, just if you see anything weird, please let us know, and we'll do our best to help as promptly as we can. Like what Adam said, 50,000 vaults and the the ridiculous amount of permutations of different edge cases. And I think with the new collections that we'll be launching and we can't talk about today, I think at this point we're dealing with over 60 contracts, which is just a management nightmare. And then, like you said, Jake, it's difficult to test when we don't have actual concrete vaults that have these particular asset combinations in them. So,
yeah, I got some details on that coming up shortly. So this next page that I've pulled up, if you're not watching the live stream, is curated collections. So the reason why I put this slide up is to really just visualize what's going on. I know for most people who enter the Emblem ecosystem, you're just immediately confused as there's so much complexity to it, right? Like in the Embels Discord, when we posted the embels.xyz to go mint, They're like, wait, this is Ethereum? I thought I was on Bells. Why didn't you deploy this on ordinals? Why didn't you do this on Solana? Right? It's tough to understand it. So here for curated collections, the first thing that I put up here is ERC 721, ERC 721A, ERC 1155s. These are the 3 contract standards that we have, right? So preferably ERC 721A and 1155. 1155 is what Rare Pepe uses. ERC 721A will be like what Bitcoin Punks uses, or what DGods uses, Bitcoin DGods, etc. So moving in the different collections or blockchain or protocols that we support Bitcoin ordinals, BRC20, Counterparty, Stamps, SRC20, Stacks, STX20. On Ethereum, we support all the Ethereum L2s, ETHscriptions, anything that uses an Ethereum address, we support. Litecoin ordinals, LTC20. We support Doge Party. DRC20 and Doginals is interesting. I've reached out to a few teams about, getting their API or using their API to create our balance checker. Still waiting on that. So whenever that comes through, then happy to add support for Doginals. Bell's coin, right? We have the Bell cryptocurrency, ERC 1155. That was a new feature, and I'd be curious if other blockchain ERC 1155 collections would be interesting. We've had this kind of conversation where if you could trade Bells, on chain, I could create essentially a Bitcoin ERC 1155, and now you could trade Bitcoin on chain without a DEX, right? You just trade it privately as well, right? Create a private vault, throw the Bitcoin in it, go trade it around, and now you're trading Bitcoin on chain. To me, that seems like a big breakthrough, but ultimately, right, Adam, we just put products out, and sometimes it surprises you who's interested in what.
Yeah, it's almost impossible to say, and that's why I'm always so bullish on what Emblem's done, because we found market fit on products already, right? A lot of stuff is built in the blockchain space, especially, that it's just devs working, and they don't know if it's ever going to if users are ever going to actually use it, and we know users are going to use this. Because they already are, right? So it's just a matter of making it even better. And really, we're all just preparing for this bull market, which, look, the feeling right now is Solana is happening, and it's happening on Solana, right? If we can be ready for that, let's go. Because who doesn't want to bring their ordinals onto Solana if Solana's marketplace is popping off, right?
Yeah,
It's not going to want to do that. Yeah, let's do it.
What else we support? We support Monocoin, Monoparty, right? There's some older NFTs on there. Namecoin, right? The domains, identities, the non-standard registrations. Namecoin also comes with auto renewal. Yes, Namecoin is not gonna lie, a massive pain in the ass, to say the least. It's just
early blockchains suck.
It's literally, you talk about Adam reviving Bell's coin. Namecoin was the first altcoin, right? And so there's a lot of clunkiness to it, but there's a lot of valuable relics on there that collectors, including myself, enjoy. And so we're here to support Namecoin. The community's been very patient with us, also with them knowing that there's just a lot of complexity that goes into Namecoin, but we are going to continue to expand on it and add different collections. The Namecoin auto renewal feature is really awesome, right? You throw your Twitter egg and some Namecoin in there, it will renew. The awesome part here is as we move into curated collections, we can now actually upgrade the contracts and fix some of the stuff that was not able to be fixed on the legacy contract. So that was also another reason to migrate. So a feature, right? We went over Jump as well. Some of these things that you could look forward to for curated collections, multi-protocol curated collections. So things like, hey, I deployed, I have DGod. We'll use DGods for an example here. I have DGods on Solana. I have DGods on ETH. I have DGods on Bitcoin. We could create a curated collection to where all 3 of those are literally in one single smart contract, so that you can have them side by side. For another example would be like Bunzi, who does mullet punks on 5 or 6 different protocols. You'd be like, hey, can I just have these all in one area or on one smart contract, so that my collectors can kind of have an aggregation of price and to have a better selection. So that is coming. And then obviously the big one is deploying on Bitcoin ordinals, deploying on Solana, deploying all the ETH L2s. I think that is really at least the final state for now. That is our priority. We'll begin, Bitcoin ordinals. I'll talk about that kind of at the end. But moving between those two and the ETH2s, right, like Blast and Base and stuff, that is where we want to be. Best way to think about Emblem is the crypto shipping center. This is the way that I do it. Emblem is a package. The package, you can put anything. You can put cryptocurrencies. You can put NFTs. You could even put any types of messages like chat rooms and different things that are not just tokens inside of it, and move it across chains, right? So when Emblem deploys on Bitcoin ordinals, you can now bring any asset into Bitcoin. You want to bring Ethereum, you want to bring Solana, you want to bring in your CryptoPunk, your Bored Ape, your, Solana Undead, and all these new things. That once we deploy on ordinals, that is what's possible. Will it be valuable? Will it have value? What will users do with it? I have no idea, right? That's kind of the idea, but there's a lot of interest around it, and we actually have a pretty awesome launch partner with it. Might catch you guys by surprise when that does happen. So we're very excited for that. Here is Emblem.finance, the front end, the new front end. Here's a little video tutorial you can see. This is something we've been working on for quite a while. Here's a few benefits for it. It's going to be mobile friendly. You're going to be able to mint vaults on your mobile. The fact that we weren't able to do this up until this point is just still mind-blowing to me. You could create 50,000 vaults with no mobile experience. That just shows product market fit. Some of the things coming to the new Emblem front end. And again, the things you see here on the screen are subject to change. It is going to be reskinned. And there will be some additional changes. Create Vault. You're going to have 3 different options on there. Which will be a little bit more simplistic. My Vaults, you'll have a page where you can categorize it either by images or kind of blur style as listing. There's going to be an activity page. This is the thing that I'm actually most excited for. The activity page on Emblem.finance, you will be able to see all vaulting activity across all collections, across all blockchains. So if a vault is minted on Bitcoin ordinals in the future, it's minted on Solana, somebody opens a rare Pepe vault on Ethereum, that'll all be nicely categorized in one single page. To me, that is, if you're a speculator or a trader, to me, that is probably the thing that you want to be watching as the activity feed. And then we're also adding a leaderboard, right? Points or no points, you'll be able to see whoever owns the most vaults, who's burned the most vaults, who's created the most vaults. And we have some additional plans for this as well as we move forward. This will be kind of our focus in February. We worked with another team to get this up and running, right? As we started this project before Swapna had joined us. So we're pretty close to nearing this and completing it. Adam, how are you feeling about this front end?
Bro, you had me at mobile. You know what I'm saying? I mean, really, like, look, this is, we talk about it all the time, but crypto is not friendly for the rest of the world. Like, the rest of the world needs crypto to be many, many times better. And so I'm super, it's just like, we just have to get there. And that's user experience across the board. And I mean, we've talked about it since day one with Emblem. It's like, we have to be mobile friendly. Like, we're building for the future, not for the past. And so, yeah, I'm beyond bullish there.
Shanna, any thoughts on a new Emblem.finance front-end V2? And then also just a little explanation, because some users have just comment requests. They ask, why is Emblem.finance broken? Why is it this? Why is it that? Or whatever. So maybe a comment on saying goodbye to the past and looking to the future.
Yeah, I'll address the last statement first, actually. The original Emblem.finance was based on a Uniswap fork that was made by the original creator of Uniswap. But he made sort of a demo page or a non-branded Uniswap page. So we based it off of that. Well, he stopped maintaining that, and it was different than the public Uniswap front end. So over the years, just things have deteriorated that have been impossible to fix and upgrade. For example, one of the biggest problems we have is the Wallet Connect and MetaMask integration. The libraries that the old website used, they're not maintained and they haven't been updated. And MetaMask has gone through 2 major upgrades, and like WAGMI has been released, and there's been a Rainbow Wallet has been released. So there's a number of these new libraries that just won't sort of fit into the old site due to not being able to upgrade certain libraries. So the new site, I'm really excited about it because it's able to use everything, and we're building it with all the lessons that we've learned from the past, right? So we know better how to maintain libraries and dependencies so that we can move forward and always upgrade as the new technology is released. But to summarize sort of the whole thing, the thing that might not be obvious here is that, one, I really appreciate everybody being patient, and I know that it's felt like it's been stalled for a long time. But in the back end, we've been basically building all of this so that we can steamroll forward now. We're soon has arrived. Like at this point, it's just like today where we're announcing so many things, and it's going to continue sort of like that as as the weeks progress. We'll be like, okay, well, this site that we're looking at now is reskinned, and boom, we launched it. So I think at this point we have been building towards and are near release to just about everything that we've talked about for many years. And again, so it's like, as we sort of stir up some of these features that we're talking about today, especially with the cross-chain migration, what comes next is the cross-chain jumping and cross-chain minting, and then it's just a matter of scale. It's like we've got, I think last time I checked, there were over 360 EVM chains. We've got multiple protocols on Bitcoin, right? So we could technically deploy vaults onto ordinals. We could deploy vaults into Counterparty. We could deploy vaults into the new Counterparty broadcast capabilities. There's just and then that's what Emblem is, right? We will be everywhere so that all of the people that have NFTs can also be everywhere.
It's exciting. One of my favorite narratives is when Emblem deploys on Bitcoin, whether it's first through ordinals and through Counterparty, it's returning home. Emblem started on Bitcoin back in 2016. So left Bitcoin in 2019 because of the environment where they were dissuading or going against builders on building on anything on Bitcoin. So the journey home is exciting.
It's fun. We've the first migration that we had was off of the original coin, the Ribbit Rewards coin that was many years ago, and we migrated from that sort of a Bitcoin clone over to Counterparty. And I guess that's our legacy, is this, being able to jump from chain to chain as much as being able to containerize your assets from one place or another. Just we've been sort of doing this cross-chain movement since before it was a thing.
Yeah, since 2014. That's how early this is. Like that's you guys don't understand. Like the idea of Emblem's been around for 10 years. Like that is unheard of in the crypto space. Absolutely unheard of. For those that are listening, you may not see this on the video, but there's actually going to be a new in-vaulting experience, right? So like right now, if you're going to go migrate your assets, you have to go to the vault, hit advanced options. We're going to have a little bit more of a detailed in-vaulting experience that's going to give you a lot more options. So underneath your asset, it'll say marketplaces and loans, like you could see here on the screen. I'll pause it. So down here, it says marketplaces. You'll drop down. You could click on any type of marketplace. Here with loans, it'll say arcade and NFTFi, etc. You click on that, it'll take you directly to the page on NFTFi so that you could borrow against. We have a few other ideas as well, and we want to keep adding these different drop downs to show you what you could do with the vaults, right? So we'll have the jump button inside this new, it'll say jump, and then you can move it to wherever you want. You can, whenever there's a new, if we create a new token standard that maybe it needs to be migrated to, or any type of new protocol that pops up, we're going to continue adding different options here. And this is where our partnerships will really come into play. to add that. We're happy to, take this, what you call prime real estate ad space inside of every single asset, inside of every single vault. Anybody who's interested and you're watching this and you're like, hey, I want to take Bitcoin frogs into my Gamblify product. Can we add a Gamblify drop down so that users could just be redirected to our site so that they can put the vault there? Yeah, we're happy to do that. This is what Emblem does. We partner with people and we allow users the ability to do whatever they want with it. We take the information, present it to you, and feel free to do whatever you like. So that is exciting. Moving on, right? One of the biggest questions we've got, one thing we've been building towards, Emblem Markets. So what the hell is Emblem Markets, right? What does this mean? Is it a marketplace? Is it a platform? It's everything. So we're building towards this idea of a chain agnostic experience and marketplace, which is a little bit different than what a cross-chain marketplace may be, like something you're seeing like what Magic Eden's doing, or OpenSea was trying to do this, and so on. Whereas I'll just use and Magic Eden is absolutely crushing it. And I use their platform a lot. They're definitely somebody to mimic towards. We have a little bit of a different perspective in terms of like how cross-chain marketplaces should look. And because we have this product called Emblem Vault, we can attack it in a different way. So what the idea of like a chain agnostic marketplace means is that you have one collection that represents all the different blockchains, and you can purchase the asset with any currency and have it delivered on any blockchain that you want. So here's an example. And this is, again, speculating a little bit into the future, but this is the vision. One rare Pepe collection, right? If I'm a seller and I want to sell a Nakamoto card, I have it listed, right, in USD or Ethereum, and then the buyer, but you list it, right, and you say, hey, I want the payment. If this sells for $200,000, I want it in Bitcoin. But then the buyer comes in and says, hey, I'll pay $200K, but I want to pay for it in Ethereum. That's okay, right? And then the buyer says, hey, this Nakamoto card exists on Ethereum, but I want it delivered on Solana, right? So now you have 3 different blockchains being involved in this transaction. For the user, that shouldn't matter. For us, we should do it all on the back end. So the user could come in, pay $200,000 in Ethereum, and then, that could be converted, and the seller can then get that payment in Bitcoin. And then the buyer also will have it revaulted from Ethereum to Solana, right? A lot of things going on the back end, but that's what we believe what a chain agnostic marketplace could look like. So we're building towards it. Obviously, right now, Emblem is only on Ethereum, BNB, and Polygon. And those last 2 need a lot of updating, but that's kind of the idea here. One thing we also are adding is an app store. So there's a lot of builders who use Emblem Vault and our SDK and our APIs to build aggregators, to build marketplaces. They want to build native vaulting experiences, right? Build the vaulting right into your marketplace or your product. And Emblem is also building, Emblem is also building products as well, right? Like today we launched a Vaultpad. And also users want to use our SDK and our API. So this will all be packaged into the App Store, where we will showcase products or platforms that are using Emblem Vault APIs or services in some capacity. We will also, this is also where like the Vaultpad will exist, bulk minting options, etc. So those are the 2 things that will be rolled out. Right here at the bottom, I have a few redacted things that are to be determined and will be rolled out over time, right? There's a lot of options and things that we can do, but we just got to get it spun up. Again, Emblem Markets is Emblem Markets we're building with additional help as well. We started Emblem Markets before Swapna and Chris had joined the team. So this is also another ongoing product. Again, chain agnostic experience, mobile ready, right? They can and likely will be some reward functionality to it in the future. Cross-chain interoperability. Adam, tell me what your thoughts are on Emblem Markets, the vision, and there's also a little tutorial that I'm going to play next. It's short, it's not complete yet by any means, but we're hoping to have it out here soon. This is one, now that we have legacy migration kind of packaged and finalized, to the most part, we can really focus on completing Emblem Markets.
Yeah, I think like if you I think it was Bunzi who put out a tweet a couple weeks ago where he just had an image of like 7 wallets or 8 wallets, right? And if you, I, and probably most people in this space have this experience where you literally have all these wallets, all these different chains, right? And if you think about it, what we're trying to do is say, what's your main wallet? Okay, so mine's MetaMask, right? I use Ethereum mainly. And I know Chris, his main one is probably Phantom on Solana or something, right? Why do you have to deal with more than one wallet? Why can't you just buy what you want to buy, receive it where you want to receive it? That's what we're building. And like it's here. And that infrastructure is simply just way different than what Magic Eating's building, where select your wallet, and it's you still have to have those 7 wallets, right? And what we're building is different, where you can be siloed. You can have one wallet and just receive whatever asset you want in that one ecosystem. I think it's transformative, and we'll see. It's going to be, look, we're early in this process, and it may take another 10 years for us all to fully understand, oh, that's the way it worked out, right? Because nobody on earth really knows the way it's going to work out. But our way, I think, is the way that's going to be the simplest and the easiest for people. And simple and easy often is the winner. So we'll see how it goes, man. It's going to be a fun fight.
Yeah, I have some thoughts on it too, which I'll cover kind of in the Vaultpad. I do want to ask Chris as well, who's somebody who jumps across chains and mainly hangs out on Solana. Why would something like this, a chain agnostic experience, be important? And what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I've been going cross chain since it was possible. Basically, was super into Bitcoin for years. Was really into Ethereum for years. Migrated over to AVAX, Near, all over the place, and really just kind of really like the UI of Solana and the speed and kind of just experience on there. So I spend most of my time on that chain. But with something like Emblem, it's so compatible across chains that you can have all of your collectibles in a single wallet if you'd like to. You can have all of your borrow and lending in a single wallet, in a single place if you'd like to. And also it opens up a ton of different arbitrage opportunities. If all of these collections are available across chains, and for some reason there's a ton of liquidity on the ETH side, and the prices are mismatched compared to the Solana side, you can vault over and sell your asset over there. And so it just opens up a ton of different experimentations that we haven't really completely thought out so far. It's just a totally new additive way to transact and kind of really connect with these assets across chains. So as we kind of build out these functionalities, the possibilities and the things that people are going to be doing are going to even surprise us, to be honest.
100%. Yep.
Tough to know. Meet collectors where they are, meet traders where they are. Shannon, I know you've thought about the idea of Emblem Markets for a while. I remember hearing it even back in 2021. And again, right, you're so early to the cross-chain kind of ideas, even discussing things like cross-chain NFT swaps even before 2020. Just take us through, your vision of Emblem Markets, and I guess technically some just context around it.
Yeah. So yeah, since the beginning, we wanted a marketplace. We wanted the ability for users to essentially just trade their vault between each other. I sort of grew up loving swap meets and places where you can trade stuff. I grew up trading sports cards and non-sports cards with my friends at school. So the trading itself didn't really exist, and ultimately we learned that it didn't take off. It's not what everybody's specifically interested in. And what I'm mostly excited about is that the marketplace and the app store is the culmination of really paying attention to how our users have been using this stuff. From the beginning, we built this platform that lets people experiment by moving their stuff where they want it. And as they've done this, we've had lots of different requests for different types of things. And what that's evolved into is this entire cross-chain abstraction where the user won't really have to care where it is and where they want it and what they're paying with and all of that. They just kind of see what they want, get the price all in one place. But then the App Store. The App Store is really exciting for me because over the years I've built like partially or a bunch of experimental things. Like there's a contract that exists that does let you take any two NFTs and do a like a cross-chain swap for them. Or now this was before OpenSea's on-chain protocol existed. You can do that with their protocol now. But again, like there's been tons of these little things that I've built that people might find value in. But they're not really it's not something that we would create an entire product around and market it and, have a great user experience, but we still want other people to experiment with. So we'll be able to publish all of these things that I've been building over the years on that App Store. And that's really exciting.
Yeah, I couldn't be more bullish on it. We definitely have now that Legacy's done, that it's going to be one of our major focuses to get out. Of course, right, the chain agnostic experience is going to take some time to build too. So it'll exist on Ethereum and we'll continually build on it. One of the next key components that we released earlier this month is the Emblem SDK. This is something that a lot of people have asked for. Just in short, it empowers developers the ability to add vaulting capabilities into their website. Utilizing our SDK, you get a range of functionalities, and we've been continually adding based off requests and as we've been building. Shannon, would you like to kind of just add why is Emblem SDK important, and how do users, or how do we go about adding other things to it? Maybe that's a builder wants to use, but they don't see a specific core functionality in it.
Yeah, so a couple of things. I'm extremely excited about this. So reel me in if I get off track. So I've been a solo developer at this point for quite a few years, right? So as we have brought on development help and started working with these external teams, I've really had to change how I develop. And sort of as a side effect of that has been this Emblem SDK. Because ultimately what I wanted to do is sort of take the noise that is this complex backend system and pull it forward to where Swapna can build stuff with it easily without having to spend months really understanding the nitty-gritty underneath. So as I've done that, I realized that, well, wait a minute, if I can encapsulate this and make this easy for us to grow our development team, I can just as easily release that to our partners. And we've constantly had, over the years, we've had lots of discussions with partners. And oftentimes we haven't been able to execute as fast as we would like because, we're 14 features in our roadmap, and where do we fit in this partnership one? So the SDK sort of addresses that as well. So what this ultimately turns into is Emblem now is building a development ecosystem. So our partners now can become builders. So we don't have to release all of these features. It's like somebody else is going to build it because they can, and they don't need my help. They don't need our help or permission, really, usually. I mean, you pull down the SDK and create a particular type of vault that is interesting for your project, and allow people to mint it right there on your site. Didn't have to interact with us at all. On the other hand, if people do want features, there's a community now, and they can sort of request, hey, I was really curious about this. They'll find other people that might be interested in building that type of thing with them. And also, it's more direct access to me. So as I grow the SDK, everything is not encapsulated within this library. So you cannot do everything that the Emblem Vault website can yet. As we build out things like the embellment today, I had to add 2 or 3 different pieces of functionality to the SDK for that. So as these projects grow and as we release more stuff, I will continually push as much stuff as possible to the SDK. And then deploying the SDK within our products as well. It makes everything run faster too. Like it's if it's running on your computer, which the SDK like runs on your computer, it's part of the website. That's infrastructure we don't have to maintain, right? Like all the secure stuff can stay on our servers, and then if you're on a web app that's using the SDK, then a lot of that functionality just kind of runs on your computer. Like the key generation, for example, that stuff is all done locally. So
yeah, couldn't be more excited. A little bit over my head when it comes to development, but Shannon's a giga brain.
And this is public. There's a public GitHub repository, which I'm sure you can get access to that information. So if anybody is welcome to make contributions to that, make changes. It's an ongoing project. There are going to be bugs or exceptions that aren't caught, or different little things that don't make sense. And it's going to continually improve. And I welcome everybody that's playing with it. If they find stuff or things that would be more convenient, please make a contribution and submit a pull request.
Yep. So you could find that at docs.emblem.wiki. That's where the Emblem SDK is, where you just go to the Emblem GitHub. I think it's Emblem Company with all the information in there. You could build things like native vaulting. So pretty much everything that you see on Emblem.finance, you could do on your own homepage. You could build aggregators and marketplaces, things like Ordinals.market had done beforehand. Pepe.cpf has added the analytics to it. There's tons of different opportunities through it. Chan, did I miss any types of products that you could do or build with the SDK today?
No, you covered it pretty well. There's ultimately, like if you wanted access to all of the vaults, you wanted to aggregate all of the vaults and query them by chain or by collection or whatever, this is how you would do it in an easy way. Also, the Launchpad is utilizing some of our embed code. So as the SDK matures, you'll be able to do things like let's say you wanted to display your vault on your web page and have a buy now button on there. You'd be able to utilize the SDK to do that, to do just that. Or like Jake said, native vaulting. Not sure if people understand what he means by native vaulting, but that means that you take our SDK and you embed it into your web page, your website, your web app, and people can create vaults and mint vaults and open vaults directly from your web page. So utilizing our infrastructure, but not our front end.
Yeah, so that is a key breakthrough for me. And also, right, there's a vaulting fee associated with it. We're happy to collaborate with ongoing or eager, entrepreneurs and builders, where we're happy to negotiate that fee so that everyone has a winning situation. We obviously understand what incentives are, and we have a few different methods and verbal agreements with different partners that are going to go about this way. So if this is something that you want, let's say you're hosting counterparty drops or Doge party drops or Doginal drops, and you want them vaulted, right? And you want to vault all 100 or 200 or whatever, but you say, hey, $20 is too expensive. Can we cut this down? And I'll be encouraged to vault them because my users want it on Ethereum or they want it on Dogecoin or whatever. We're happy to talk. So just, shoot us a DM and we'll work through that.
Yep. I actually had an onboarding experience with another project recently on Optimism, and it kind of blew me away at how great it was. And the only real difference is it had a lot of the typical Web3 infrastructure, but there's no wallet. They covered all the fees, right? So with these different systems that we're building, we enable our partnerships to do things like that. Like let's say they were on a blockchain that's relatively inexpensive or practically free to work on, right? They could work with us and we could come up with some model that would enable this type of onboarding.
Yep. Simple idea, right? If you run a Launchpad, whether it's on stamps or counterparty or ordinals or whatever, or you run an inscription service. I think this is kind of an easy layup, which we'll get into here in a second, because at the end of the day, right, we're kind of selling vaults. And here I pulled up here on the screen, this is just a simple demo for the Embells and the stamps that you could go find in the SDK that you can kind of build and test it directly through your own interface. So that is there, and it just shows that, see, it works. And this is all being hosted not on the Emblem.finance page, but this is being hosted on a different page. So you could see here, right? It's a lot of code, but you could see that it's performing a mint, and a vault is being created and minting on something that is not just Emblem.finance. See, that all happened in about 15 seconds here on the screen.
Yeah, anybody could go and download this web page right now, run it on their local machine, click that button, and they have now created this created this kind of vault, recreated this. Like, this just works out of the box, and that's the beauty of the SDK.
And now here we are today with the Vaultpad, which was released a little bit earlier. So I'm going to go through this, and then I'll let Adam give it a little bit of an explanation. We also have a YouTube video that I will play, as well as the website. So you could go right now to embells.xyz. That is EMBELLS.xyz. You could go experience crypto's first cross-chain launchpad. At least, you know, I try to stay very neutral with to saying first, but I've done a lot of research and I've not found anything like this. What is happening under the hood is you're inscribing on Bell's coin and getting it delivered inside of a vault on Ethereum. Again, inscribe on X blockchain, have it delivered on Y blockchain. This is something that we will continually hammer home, getting it delivered on whatever blockchain that you want inside of a vault that is essentially a package, right? That's kind of how I see it. So going through the door here with the Vaultpad, we're very aware people are frustrated with ETH gas fees. We're very, very aware of this. Emblem exists on Ethereum. It is still it's still on the furthest curve in terms of innovation and offerings from a technical standpoint. Yes, gas fees suck, but to apply here, Ethereum is kind of Emblem's, you call it HQ or home base. So once this is enabled, like we did today, now that Embells, right, it's a Bell's coin asset that's delivered on Ethereum. But once we deploy on Solana, once we deploy on ordinals, Embells will have that ability to move to Bitcoin ordinals, to move to Solana, to move to Optimism, to move to Blast, to go participate in Blast NFT derivative product that they're doing, right? Like, a lot of different optionalities there. That's really exciting. This is the first step to get there, and we are treating Embells. We're treating Embells as a Emblem project. We did this with Viva La Vandal, who is down there, one of the great artists on Counterparty, on stamps, really crushing it. We worked with Graham Bells, who's the creator of Bellscribe, and he inscribed the first Bellinals. And then we worked with Dimitri, who helped with the Bitcoin stamps front end versus first mint, right? So this is a highly collaborative thing between everyone to get it together. So Embells, right? You inscribe on Bell's coin, you have it delivered on Ethereum as a curated collection. I'll show the OpenSea page here in a second. It's one transaction for the user, right? You're paying in ETH, but there's two transactions happening on the back end. And I had a few people ask how this works. So this is exactly how it works. You click on it on an image, and I'm going to pull up the page here in a second. Click on the Embells that you want, and then you pay in ETH. Once you pay in ETH, a vault is created for that specific Embells. Nobody else can mint, right? So after that transaction's been signed, so it's first is first. Once the vault is minted, then we're paying Graham's specific Emblem Bellscribe API, which then it inscribes the Bellinals or the Embells and then delivers it to the vault itself. So one reason why we did this is we did not want to pre-inscribe all of these. We felt that it would take away from the experience. We know that inscription numbers are very important as well. And so that's kind of the process. And this can be applied to anything, right? So right now it's inscribe on Bell's coin, deliver on Ethereum. I think the future kind of end case here, and this is the most requested we've had, is inscribe on Bitcoin ordinals, delivered on Solana. We've had that requested at least 10 times already. Another ones was like inscribe on Doginals and have it delivered on an Ethereum L2. So all these kind of cross-chain launchpads are awesome. Why would anyone want to do this, right? There's a handful of reasons why. The first reason is gas fees, right? Or immature infrastructure right now. So for Bellinals, there's one marketplace. It has limited functionality or limited liquidity. And so, inscribing it on inscribing it and then having it delivered on Ethereum. Yes, I understand gas fees suck, but there is a lot more liquidity on OpenSea than there is on the existing Bellinals marketplaces. So this is one for immature ecosystems. Number two is that it's an opportunity for users or creators to generate some revenue. Right now, the vaulting fee is 25 because we're splitting it and sharing it between all of these different parties. But let's say you're a creator on Bitcoin ordinals and you're going to inscribe 10,000 Bitcoin ordinals. That's quite expensive to do, right? You can generate and get some of that revenue back by having it going through the cross-chain launchpad and having it delivered on Solana, because the gas fees on Solana are quite low. So you can probably get a lot of that back. And users could go back and forth as much as they'd like between it. Once that curated collection is there, it's there forever. It's an immutable contract. And then you get access to everything that Emblem has to offer between all of the new tooling that will come. This will be a key feature in our app store. And right now, it's currently available for Bitcoin ordinals, stamps, Litecoin ordinals, Doginals, Bellinals. Insert chain here. We could do it. We originally created this for Bitcoin ordinals, but the team that we built it for never used it, right? So the issue we've run into with Emblem a lot is people ask for these different types of products. We build it, and then they never use it. So then ultimately, we have to come in and showcase it. And this is exactly what Embels is doing. So Adam, I'd like to pass it off to you for a minute. I'm going to go on to the Embels website. There's a YouTube tutorial, and I'm going to go on OpenSea as well.
Yeah, people are asking me in my DM, why'd you do it to Ethereum? Gas prices and stuff. But remember, guys, there's a whole lot of money on Ethereum, right? And if you want liquidity, if you want people to trade it, Ethereum isn't a bad spot to be. And so I think one of the things, like Jake touched on it, right? Inscribing to another blockchain, but I want you guys to think about it also a little bit differently. And this might blow some minds a little bit, but launching a project on Solana and inscribing it into an Emblem Vault on Solana. Why would you want to do something like that, right? First, it's going to be very inexpensive, but second, then your entire project, if you're doing a 10K on Solana and you inscribe directly into Emblem Vaults on Solana, it's immediately ready to go across chain. You're simply preparing your entire project for the future, which is cross chain. And you don't know what you're just saying, I don't know where the future is going to hold, but I know that if I launch it into an Emblem Vault right from the start, my entire project is ready to go cross chain whenever that happens. And we all know, we see whatever the Psi blockchain or Say blockchain is popping off. Is that going to be the one this cycle that people go crazy on? It might be. It might be Solana. It doesn't really matter. This kind of sets it up for whatever is next. And I think that's the thing that is really, really exciting. I know a lot of, projects are going to take advantage of this in the coming cycle because you simply are saying to yourself, well, we're on Solana. Yeah, that's where we are. That's where our core people are. But we're setting up our holders to be ready for whatever's next. And I think that's amazing. And I know people have, been DMing me, well, why bells? Why'd you do bells? And it's like, dude, if we can do it on bells, bro, we can do it on anything. If we could launch this using Bell's blockchain, which is the clunkiest, most troublesome blockchain in the world right now, bro, when we do this on Solana, it's going to be piece of cake, easy peasy. So we do this because these things are hard, not because they're easy. So thank you, Shannon, for making this happen. Thanks to Graham Bell for making the inscription tool happen. It's been challenging to say the least, but dude, here it is. It's live. It's amazing, man.
So we
I also like.
go ahead,
Sorry, Dave.
Go ahead.
I'd just like to give an extra shout out to Viva La Vandal. I've been collecting his art for a while. I'm quite honored that we were able to partner with him. These are adorable. I love this stuff. Sorry, go ahead, Jake.
So for an update, we have 473 have been minted out of 10K. So we're approaching about 5% in the first hour. Again, I know the gas fees are a little bit higher. We have 203 unique owners so far. So to me, that's distributions quite well. 203 owners, 473 vaults that have been minted. Very, very exciting. I've had a handful of people reach out and say that this is such a cool tool. I know, it comes out to about 0.02 ETH, right? 0.01 about for the vault or for the fee that's getting shared between everybody. And then for the gas fees as well. I would even say, if you want to participate in this, you're probably going to have some time, whether it's, takes a week or a month. Wait to the weekend, right? If you really want, if you don't want to spend $50 and you'd rather pay $30, you could probably go ahead and mint this on the weekend. I think right now what people are trying to do is snipe rares because it is first is first.
Yep.
Or they're trying to snipe some of the numbers that they like. So that's what's cool about the experience. Because as I've been sitting here kind of going through this on the live stream, I'm seeing some different numbers like 777s being minted, right? All the even numbers. People are trying to look for the traits, and we will add traits once this is minted out, or once we kind of get the system and the metadata enabled, right? So if you go to, again, going back to OpenZ here, you'll see some of the images have rendered, some have not. Shannon, do you want to explain what you have to do to make sure that all the images render and kind of the backend process to that?
Yeah, so the typical process for loading and minting a vault is, you would create a vault, you would load it with your assets. You'd go onto Emblem Finance page, you'd refresh it until the balance showed up, and then you'd be able to mint it. This sort of takes that model and flips it around a little bit. So what we have is a whole bunch of empty vaults that are minted into this curated collection, and there is a pending inscription order going on in the background. So as these are inscribed, they'll be delivered to the vaults. I need to write some automation, as we go through the mint, to automatically check the balances on all of these items, and then automatically clear the cache and update OpenSea. So it's going to be, they're going to see placeholders and static images for a while as as the collection gets minted and OpenSea takes a bit to collect or to catch up.
Yeah, so guys, don't worry. We're going to build a bulk refresh tool for this. So please be patient, right? As we know with Bell's coin specifically, there is some lag. The blocks are irregular. The timing is still, to be determined. So
it could take hours, guys. It could literally take hours. So just chill, relax. The inscriptions are going to happen, but it could take a while, many hours. The reality is may take a while to get this fully inscribed. So just relax. It's going to happen. If you want to win a free one, you can see my tweet. It's pinned up top. Throw your ETH address in the replies to the main tweet. And we're definitely going to be giving away some MBells for sure. And so we'll have some winners there. Throw your ETH address in and for a chance to win one of these.
Yeah, as I'm sitting here going through the activity feed, you can see really in the last 15 minutes or so, there's been many unique owners. Like if you look here on the right, it's literally just all unique addresses minting. So I don't know if this got picked up by trading bots or minting bots or whatever it is, right, when they see smart contracts minting. But the mint cost is literally 0.0108 ETH. It's quoted there. You could see it, $24.97. And yeah, look at this. Literally within the last 7 or so minutes, really is where the minting activities picked up. Again, we're at 5%. Right now, we're at 508 items. I'm sure people are sniping rares again in certain types of numbers, but this will be here, right? You're probably going to have, days to weeks. I don't know. Maybe it mints out today.
Dude, famous last words, man.
Right?
You know the way it works, man. It's like, you got time, dude. It's like, you never know, man. Guys, do what you want, but hey, we want people to get good deals too and have inexpensive mints. But shoot, the way this stuff works, man, all of a sudden they're gone in 15 minutes, but it is what it is, man. Don't worry.
No, don't worry. Once you click mint and the vault is in your wallet, you're good. You don't have to worry about anything else. Remember, once the vault is minted, you just have to wait for the delivery from the blockchain itself. So that's where the delay could come in. And then we're going to add some traits today, tomorrow, pretty soon. But just know that that's there. This isn't going away. This will be showcased on Emblem Markets. This will be one of the premier collections for us. We're treating this as an Emblem collection. This is something we're putting our brand behind, and that's why we're thankful for everyone to participate with us. It's a really, really cool collection. And from my understanding, it might be one of the first 10Ks or one of the early ones, or at least one of the early ones to hit the market, I should say. We had gone through yesterday. If you go to yesterday's show, we did a whole entire video on the Vaultpad itself, and there's really no premier collection right now, and this is why we feel comfortable doing this on ETH, so that people can trade until the native marketplaces improve. Because also we went into yesterday's show discussing how with Emblem, there's two folds to it. There's it coming in and supporting immature teams or immature infrastructure. And then after that, once the native experience is improved, then it becomes, how does Emblem add utility to that blockchain? For Bell's Coin right now, it's very, very early stages. And here you could transact with these on Ethereum and have the transaction processed in 10 seconds. Whereas if you go to try to transact on Bell's Coin, you could wait literally hours for this to happen. So again, any suggestions, any comments, anything like that, please just let us know. Reach out to us. Again, the website is embells.xyz. Again, EMBELLS.xyz. It's going to be there for a while. So just continue and reach out. So there's that video that Adam had done. And I need to move over to the next page somehow. Why is this not moving over? Hold on 1 second. There we go. So Koval, right? This is a question that a lot of people have asked. This is something I've been very firm on since I joined the team. Right now, Emblem is remaining passive towards the Koval strategy until our infrastructure improves. We understand from the Emblem side, it's been very frustrating. Koval has been around since 2014, right? It predates Emblem. Shannon acquired RBR, which is Ribbit Rewards, the blockchain in 2014, moved it to Koval C on Counterparty, then moved it to Koval on Ethereum, and so on and so forth. And tokenomics have changed, business models have changed, but we've been very consistent in saying that, Koval and tokenization and incentives, this is what packages everything together. We're not going to continually shill Koval like everyone wants us to until we feel comfortable with our infrastructure, so that we could package it all nice together, right? Things like rewards and airdrops and all these different things. If there's no infrastructure, if there's no marketplace, there's no front end, like what's the point of it? There's nothing to package it together. And so again, trust me when I say this, we've explored all tokenomic models, literally dozens of them. Adam is probably tired of me trying to explain to him all of the crazy tokenomic ideas that I've come through. Shannon also is like me, loves kind of tokenomics, but it just has not been the right time. Koval's also listed on Coinbase. Coinbase has been in a active lawsuit with the SEC. So we've been really waiting for some regulatory clarity, which it does seem like is getting to the point now with that case really ongoing. We've not forgot about Koval, right? We've moved it to this discount system for now, because it's sitting there as we explore. We had to abstract it away from what it was originally used for. Was to create a vault, you had to use Koval. You couldn't pay for it in Ethereum. And we had dozens, if not hundreds of users begging us to add ETH payments because they didn't want to go through the hurdles of going to buy Koval on Uniswap, then having to pay for it, right? Then they dump it afterwards. It's just like, it caused too much friction. And it came to, the same decision with the migration, where it was like, this is going to be some temporary pain for sure. This is right. Emblem is also, a big holder of Koval, a top 10 holder of Koval. This also hurts us as well, right? So we had to make the decision to say, hey, we have to, remain passive towards this and really focus on our infrastructure so that once it does improve, we'll be able to package it all together and do some of the things, that you see in today's tokenomic models that you see across marketplaces, right? That is something we can do, something we would like to do, but without a new front end, without updated curated collections, without all the infrastructure there, it's not a win-win situation. And that's what we want to do to move forward is win-win. But Shannon, I've had a ton of requests from the OG Koval community that wants me to ask you about Koval.
Of course, yeah. You actually covered it quite well, but I want to sort of reiterate, and this entire town hall helps do that. And so understand that when we say that we've been talking about and working through different tokenomics models and paying attention to what works with other ecosystems and what works with other launches and other projects and what doesn't. We have done a whole lot of work behind the scenes, and just the same way that we're, continuing to deliver on what we've talked about technology-wise, we are getting quite excited that there is an end in sight to the regulatory question, and as that becomes clear, I'm really excited to start working with some of these models that have to do with I can't really talk about it, but Koval will always remain a first-class citizen with us, and will be included within our models. So, yeah, exciting stuff. And again, like you said, Jake, building all of the infrastructure helps make that possible as well. So.
Yeah, exciting time. Adam, any takes on Koval? I know you've been tired of me explaining Koval to you a million times and all these different crazy models that we could do. Chris has even jumped in and started diving into all these different possibilities. But just your perspective on it.
It's look, most people, and we've learned, most investors really want a token to provide this kind of liquidity for a project, and I totally get it. And all I can say is, as you have in your slide here, we are actively working on this. So this is not something that we've pushed away. We're building the infrastructure, and I feel like the activity and more users and all this kind of activity, which we're building this kind of underlying layer of Web3, we really are building this functionality. And once that's fully in place, I would be very bullish on what we do with the tokenomics.
Yeah. Now with a team and putting Legacy behind us, of course there's going to be some bumps. We could finally start pursuing that. Moving on to the next slide, right? February 2024. What to look forward, or what is the things that we at Emblem will be focusing on? So bulk features, things like bulk mint. This is something that I've been hammering. Chan's probably annoyed of me saying we need bulk minting tool. We need bulk minting tool. This is the thing that I've been asking for a long time. A lot of users have, and what the bulk minting tool means, let me explain it here. I'll use Rare Pepe because, they're our largest priority in community. There's a lot of Pepe holders that have, 50% of a supply, 75% of a supply, right? And you're sitting on 500 of one card. I don't want to sit there and have to individually mint 500 cards. First, it's fucking annoying and painful. And second, just no, I'm not doing that. I personally have vaulted 88 assets in one day, and it took me almost 6 hours to do it. It's not a fun experience. And so, right, that this also causes bifurcation in liquidity, right? If there's a bottleneck to get assets into vaults to go trade and access more liquid markets, and obviously, right, it's gonna hinder some of the price action and some of the value. And we're very aware of that. It's the same thing with Legacy, right? A lot of the older counterparty people frustrated that, and Megapunks too. I hear you guys, Megapunks. You guys have been on me the most. Right, having a certain supply trapped in vaults or not able to get into vaults, it makes the community frustrated. It makes us. So we are working on the bulk minting tool. Basically, what you could do is you'll be able to send, let's say, and some of this may change, but essentially, I'll send 50 shitcoin cards into this one deposit address, and then say I want 50 different vaults. sign the transaction, pay the fees, and it's all done in simply two transactions: sending the assets into the vault and then pressing the supply and minting it. On the other side of that, we can also do things like bulk unlock, which is something that somebody has asked, right? If I own 70 vaults and I want to unvault them to start trading them natively on whatever Bitcoin ordinals marketplace or counterparty or whatever the case is, right? That's almost just as important. So adding that bulk jump as the feature we had announced today, bulk create, there's a lot of different opportunities there. Shannon, would you like to add maybe any more context to bulk mint and some of the thoughts behind it? If there was anything I missed.
No, pretty much covered it. Yeah, it's technical. It's very similar functionality to everything we've been describing. So building it all at the same time is going to give us some massive scalability pretty quick. So I'm just excited about it.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Guys, I have to jump in here, Jake. The site is getting completely smashed right now. We've had, just to let you know, like
1,700 mints now.
Holy crap. It's literally I've got the FOMO, right? I minted like, I don't even know, 4 or something.
Oh, like 7+. We're 17% in. All right.
And like literally everyone I've tried to mint, guys, if you see a gas pump up and the gas is like $1,000, obviously reject those transactions. What's happening is the MBEL's already been minted, and that's why it's throwing that huge gas at you. So yeah, just heads up, guys. Don't get wrecked by accidentally clicking on mint when there's a huge gas fee, because you're not going to get it and you're going to lose the gas, remember. So Ethereum at its best. So yeah, the site's getting absolutely bombed right now. So and getting like, somebody's probably set a bot on it or something. It's max minting right now. So
I don't know. 563 unique owners, 1,700 vaults, so about 33%. So
I was like, oh well, let me go get some of the cool numbers. It's like, no, man, they're all gone, man. It's like crazy right now. So yeah,
hey, that's success. That's really awesome to see. Again, right at 30 minutes ago, I was like, maybe you'll have some time. Now it's 17%.
I mean, you still may, but there's obviously, it's out there. Some group or something is obviously crushing on it right now. So
yeah, trading group again, right? This is something we were talking about when we posted in the MBEL, or in the Bells Coin Discord. A lot of people didn't understand why Ethereum, like why is it on Ethereum? It is just a different liquid market, right? Like for some of the pretty big NFT collectors had messaged me this morning about it. He just bought 10. He was like, cool, no big deal. Like, this is super cool. I'm in, we'll see what happens. Meeting collectors where they are. This is what Emblem does. We meet you wherever you want to be, because you never know how it'll take off. So, right, 17% in an hour. That is actually absolutely insane and incredible. So props to everybody. Moving on to February 2024. Our goal is to deploy more curated collections. I don't know if you guys have been following. We deployed 13 Bitcoin ordinal collections this last week, between Bitcoin DeGods, Bitcoin Frogs, OMB, etc. Obviously, they haven't really been accessed because the native Bitcoin ordinals ecosystem is improved. So for us, right, the next thing is we're working with Arcade, we're working with NFTFi to add borrowing and lending, right? Then you go to all these other different protocols. Hey, do you want to access Bitcoin NFT liquid markets? Do you want to, right? We'll probably go to Blast, right? When Blast is launched, and say, hey, can you add NFT perps or derivatives for Bitcoin Frogs, for all of these other ones, and go over there, right? These are all these crazy opportunities. But if you have a collection, or if you're a creator, I should say, or a team, and you want access to Emblem curated collections and you want to go on to Ethereum, please reach out to us. We're now actually accepting applications. DM me, DM Adam, go into the Emblem Discord, ping me when, and send me the details. Really, all we need is, so first, if we support the blockchain, which we do most of the main ones, Ethereum, Solana, Tezos, Bitcoin ordinals, stamps, Doginals are still waiting on the API, Litecoin ordinals, etc. All we need to do is we need the traits and collection. So simply a JSON file that has all of the information for your collection, and then we could build a balance checker for it. If you're on a blockchain that we don't support, please also reach out to us. We're also going to be actively, now that we could scale, adding support for things like Flow, adding things for things like Hedera, right? Or Avalanche or Cardano, right? If that's something that you want and you want access to cross-chain functionality, we can add wallet support. Just please reach out to us. Again, yeah, please reach out to us. We want to deploy crazy number here. I'd like to deploy 100 curated collections this month. Would be awesome. But again, please reach out. It's tough. We can't be everywhere. It's a little bit of a small team. We're going to continue building with our partners and explorers. We've got probably about 10 partnerships kind of just sitting and waiting over the next 6 months as we kind of build towards this. Launching Emblem.Finance V2 that we went over earlier, and launching the beta of Emblem Markets is a goal that we would like for February 2024. I'm going to note and say this. I'm never going to put an exact date on anything ever again when it comes to development.
Q1, Q2.
Yeah, you got to make it just as ambiguous as possible. The fact, yeah, just it. And I've learned this as well, working, on OmniSat as well, being a core contributor there. Even on that team as well, it never hits timelines. No team ever does, right? The Yuga Labs royalty marketplace was supposed to come out in quarter 4 last year. It never happened. So I'm trying to be very generalized. I know people want when is it coming out? But these are our goals for February 2024. Going to continue to review and implement new business models as we went over. And towards the end of the month, we'll begin Emblem on Bitcoin ordinals research and development. Although we've actually done a lot of them, and we've actually explored and talked with a handful of teams for things that require it to be built, right? Like parent-child inscriptions, recursion, DLCs, all that fun stuff. We've already opened discussion for that, and we have a pretty solid idea on how to get it done. But then it's actually getting in the trenches and building it is kind of the final goal there, right? So quarter 2 for Bitcoin ordinal is exciting. We actually, again, very strong launch partner, very, very strong. I'm not going to say who it is, but when you guys see it, you're going to be like, holy shit, that's pretty wild.
Jake's been working. What?
I've been grinding, dude. I'm going door to door, dude. I'm almost like a door-to-door salesman selling the Emblem product. Kind of fun. But again, I put here at the bottom, what features would you guys like to see? Is there anything else? Please reach out to me. My door is open. The whole Emblem team we want to build this, as decentralized and community oriented as possible. Another thing we want to do is decentralize vaults and some of these other ones. So bring some ideas. If you're a developer, especially, please come in and talk to us. So some of the partnerships that we announced, Best in Slot, who's providing API for our Bitcoin ordinals collection. Again, if you're an API provider and you would like to provide APIs to whatever collection we support, please reach out to us. We're actually have an agreement with Best in Slot, with the Bitcoin stamps guys, with the API inside of all those vaults. So inside of every single Bitcoin ordinals vault, it'll say data provided by Best in Slot. And that is for marketing and branding purposes, that's huge, right? The more ordinal collections that are created, the more your brand gets across. So we're going to do that with any API provider to us for any blockchain or protocol that you create. Second partnership I guess this is more of an informal one, but with DGods, they had reached out to us, Bitcoin DGods, and the team behind their tool that they're building, their DDesk. They asked us to add support for DGod, Bitcoin DGods. So that collection is live. I don't believe they've utilized it yet. But those are the two. And again, there's about 4 or 5 other ones that I have not included on here because they're still in the process. So again, we are cooking, guys. And that is the end of the slide.